It's a staple right there. Chicken and rice. I know I post a lot of frozen yogurt and brownies and cookies and stuff, but the truth is I eat this pretty much every day. And my breakfast and my dinner are pretty much the same most days unless I go out. And that's what you guys need to understand is consistency. Consistency. If I changed my diet every single day, all the time, it would be incredibly hard for me to stick to it. If you can't stick to it, your body can't adapt to it. I'm fine with eating this pretty much every day. The stuff that does change is my excess calories after I eat my staple meals, and that's when I have all the fun stuff. Sit. Sit. That's not sit. Come on. Come on. Come on, Neo, get up. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh. I've started to reduce the weights on most of my lifts. Not my main lifts, but my accessory lifts. So anything that I use for bodybuilding, for a bodybuilding result, I started to drop the weights and really focus on the technique using strict form and as minimal momentum as possible. So here's some upright rows. I'm only using 20s. I never really do upright rows, so this is one of the first times I'm doing it. But I'm trying to pull with my elbows high and hold for a slight pause at the top. Here I'm doing some rear delt flies, so using the bench to minimize the swinging. And I'm coming up, and I usually swing a little bit more than this, but I'm trying to control the way down. Just bop Neo on the head there. So trying to control the way down and pause and come up from a dead stop. This way I can make sure that the muscles are doing most of the work rather than relying on momentum and getting driven by my ego and trying to take big jumps in weight, and rather doing everything strict, get the muscle to really do some work. The two things that people need to achieve any goal are patience and execution. Most people can execute to some degree, but not executing consistently is what holds people back, because you can't just execute once or 3 times or 5 times and expect to be there. So in the case of like a diet, for example, if you just start a new diet and then like you finally hit a week where like you didn't cheat at all, you hit all your macros, you stayed under all your calories, and you executed on all levels diet-wise, right? You just got there. You cannot expect to have crazy results, or even like you can't expect to have all the results you want if you just got there. Okay, you have to execute. That's step 1. You have to execute multiple times over and over and over again for years in order for you to achieve what you want, right? So don't get it twisted and think that because you got there, now like everything should come to you. It happens a lot where we give people diet rules. So when people first start out at our gym, we give them diet guidelines, and there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guidelines that we work towards over the first few weeks or months, depending on the person, how long it takes them. But people get in the habit of like, okay, I did my protein goal, like I hit my protein goal, I should have all these results. The protein goal is step 1. Like the next goal is step 2. Even if you do all the, like if you hit all your guidelines and follow all your guidelines, that's like a very small step. It's just the beginning. It's not the end goal. So don't treat it, people don't take their first guidelines seriously because they think like once I hit 5, that's it. That's the end goal. It's not the end goal. That's the beginning. You're at like -5 right now and you're trying to get to 0. So to a point where we can start manipulating stuff. It's not the end goal. So execution is a huge thing. Get to where you need to be, execute, and expect to execute for years and years and years. Patience is the second thing. Years and years and years requires patience. So people will execute maybe semi-consistently for about a year or 2 and then drop off. Most likely it's like a month. Most people don't take it a year, but most likely it's like a few weeks or a month. It requires patience to know that you're waiting for something bigger. Okay, let's say you have a business and the business starts to make money. Person A would, okay, starting to make money, let me just take most of the money out because I've earned it for myself, spend it on what I want and whatever, and then the business kind of slows, the growth slows because you're taking most of the money. Like you want to spend the money, you're not investing it back into the business. Person B has the patience, I'm going to only take exactly what I need, invest the rest of the money back into the business. That way the business grows exponentially faster than person A, right? Eventually, person B, because of their patience, will have a bigger business, more successful business, and can take more money out. So patience pays off, well, literally in this case, where he can take more money out because the company is bigger and it grew faster. Or person A wanted the initial investment, didn't have the patience to wait. Of course, you have like the instant gratification, but long term, you're not really going to make as much as person B. If you take that towards training in your diet, person A is employing all the extreme strategies that aren't going to take them very far in the long term, like dropping their calories super low, going on like a low no carb diet, stuff that gives you instant results. Maybe you drop 5 pounds in the first week because it's water and whatever, but it gives you that like, okay, I'm doing something. Or you go crazy in the first couple weeks of your training and you kill yourself, you feel sore and you feel good about training, but realistically that's not a sustainable approach. And a couple years down the line or a couple months down the line, you're going to drop off because you're going to be like, this is ridiculous, can't keep this up. Whereas person B got on a steady program, maybe it's not the max that they could do or even close to the max that they can do in the beginning, but it builds on itself, and eventually once they get months, years down the road, they're way stronger, way more muscular, their body composition is way better, their eating habits are way better, and it pays off more in the long run they didn't get that initial initial crazy result or drastic result that person A got, but in the long term it paid off because they were patient and they executed over and over and over and over again for months and years. And that's what you need to do with any of your goal, whether it's training and getting the body that you want, or it's business, or it's your career. Patience, and then executing over and over and over again. Put your head down and work. That's what I like. That's kind of my motto for everything that I do. Is I look in the future, I know what my goal is, but I know that there's all these steps that aren't very ego friendly. Like, they're not going to satisfy my ego right at this moment. Like, I have to do lifts that maybe aren't personal records all the time, and maybe I don't get to share and post about it on Facebook all the time, but I know it's the work that I have to put in. I have to put my head down and just do the work, just do the work, just do the work. And the same thing with my business. I just have to do the work, do the work, do the work, and eventually once I get to that point, it explodes, and all of my work beforehand is worth it.